So this is another trailer reaction.
Kind of.
This is another YouTuber's thing that we're reacting to. It's called Star Wars Theory. If you don't know who he is, he's really good. It's really cool. He knows Star Wars really well. Obviously, that's why he's called Star Wars Theory. But he did a fan film, and I'll tell you the backstory, and I'll tell you the backstory. He did a fan film, a 16-minute clip, and it was exploring Darth Vader. It was like Vader's sort of... And it's really good, right, because it explores Vader's sort of not only self-doubt, but his anger towards Palpatine. Because he starts hinting at the idea that Vader knows it's essentially Palpatine's fault that Padme dies.
Yeah.
But obviously he still blames himself. And it was a brilliant. It's a 16-minute clip. It's non-profit, so obviously because he doesn't own any of the material that he's using.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, Lucasfilm took it down.
I heard about that. Yeah.
And he basically appealed and he said, "I'm not trying to make profits from it. I'm just making a fan film."
Yeah.
So they essentially gave him, they said, "Okay, you can do it." And I'm pretty sure they actually signed a contract with him so he could make them, which is a good thing because they're really good. And I thought it ended, and that was episode 1, the 16 minutes. And he released this the other day, and it's a trailer that he did for the second part, which is, I've seen it and I think it's really cool. So you're going to watch it now and we're going to say what you think. So, spoiler alert, I guess.
Well, if you haven't watched the first one, go watch the first one and then...
Yeah, have you watched the first one?
No.
Okay, so you'll have to go and watch the first one.
I will though.
What a guy. What a guy.
Yes. There was some actual shit thrown there. Good on him.
Yeah. Doing
And Dave Filoni.
what do you call it? Some dedications there, but not to anyone currently working at you, apart from Dave Filoni. Does it just look cool? It already looks
Did
cool.
he draw the animation himself?
I don't even know that it's... I think it's animated. Well, it's obviously animated, but the first one I don't think was animated.
Commander Brooks, come in.
Yikes.
Where is Lord Vader?
It's a good impression for Clone as well.
Fire!
Damn.
Oh, he's just toying with that clone.
He's just playing with his food at this point.
Poor clone.
Oh, bless him.
Commander Brooks. Come in.
TBD. Come on, Theory. Okay.
He'd animate it, yeah, so it is animated.
What?
I said, because I asked if he was one that animated it, and it wasn't. He has like animated some people.
Dean Van der Plach. I don't know.
Just give him all the money, and let him do some Star Wars films. Just give it, just...
It's cool, isn't it? I should leave that up actually. Um,
'Cause I did see some people thought that it was going to be Mace Windu that came back in Mandalorian,
yeah,
and that he would be the one. But
it wouldn't make sense for him to be alive then,
no, it's too.
because he's too powerful for Vader not to sense him.
Yeah.
Like he's
Vader would obviously go after.
yeah. If it was like a Padawan, then you would understand, because he probably wouldn't waste his time with a Padawan. But because it's Mace Windu, who was the Jedi Grand Master at one point, he would absolutely sense him. So that's cool. You'll have to watch the first episode now, because the first episode's really cool as well. Yeah.
See, they have people like this in the world who can make just a 3-minute clip can make me more excited about an animated fan-made film.
The thing is, I don't
Then-
even know if the actual film itself will be animated, because like Mace Windu will probably have to be animated, but apart from that, in the last one, Vader wasn't animated. The Emperor wasn't.
What do you mean it wasn't animated?
They weren't animated. They were acted. They were live action.
Or were they?
So it's kind of like
I mean,
that's what I mean. It's this is why, right, when people say why do Star Wars fans get angry with Kathleen Kennedy and Ryan Johnson and stuff like that, it's because people like this who know how to do a character good, and that was only one character, and it was Mace Windu, and everyone's excited just at the prospect of Mace Windu still being alive, at the prospect of Mace Windu versus Anakin again, but this time Anakin's Vader.
mm-hmm.
I mean, they never really got Anakin versus Vader in the last one, did he? Because he just chopped his arm off.
Yeah. And then he got pushed out a window.
Yeah, and it's maddening. And then people will say, because he got attacked recently, and I've already done a video on it. He got attacked on Twitter because he cried when Luke came out during the Mandalorian,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone was kind of having a go at him, including people at Lucasfilm who haven't been reprimanded for having a go at one of their fans. You know, because apparently it's not an attack on fans. You know, apparently it's not an attack on a fan base.
Why? Because for crying because Luke came out.
Mm.
Have they seen anyone that's reacted to that? Because I have, and a lot of them were reacted in the same way.
Well, they said the things that they said was, they said, one, it was edited and it was acted out, so it wasn't real. They said movies shouldn't make you emotional, and I can't remember what the other one was. Emotions aren't for sharing, or something like that. And it was kind of like there was half the people, because this is split Star Wars fans into another subgroup, all warring with each other about Star Wars theory, and it's kind of like, of course movies should make you emotional. That's why you make them. If you can't empathise with someone in a movie, then you're probably a psychopath. That's probably, it's what movies and media in general is designed to do, to make you empathise, and it's just.
I mean, imagine attacking someone about it though. Just let them
No, it wasn't an attack. People are saying it wasn't an attack. It's like, if you're calling someone because of the way they reacted to something, that is an attack.
on your product.
I know.
It's a product that they are trying to get people to watch and to like, and someone's reacting to it in a positive way.
And you attack them for it.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because it wasn't the sequels.
Get a life.
This is what this. Yeah, that's
Get a
that's
life.
literally what Lucasfilm and Twitter and all the people who work there on Twitter now have turned into, is them attacking people for not liking the sequels as much as they
The thing is,
like
though,
the other things.
It's it doesn't matter if you don't like the sequels. You can appreciate other things. It's fair enough. There are going to be people that like the sequels. Good for them. Good for them that they like something about the sequels. Doesn't mean everyone else has to. It's an opinion, you know.
The thing is, when people say about the sequels, right, and they say that, oh, you didn't like the sequels as much as the Mandalorian, why? And it's like, because the characters are relatable. Yes, I don't relate to the green child thing, but I understand. But I relate to Mando, who takes this child on as his own, and then when he gives him away, you can see the emotion on his face. Now, how can I relate to Rey, who has everything? She's the most powerful character there is.
Mm-hmm.
She's always in the right place at the right time, and she never once earns it. It's like, how on earth can I relate to that
She
character?
isn't really trained. She doesn't really.
Yeah, it's like, I can't relate to that character. I can
No.
relate to a man who's just trying to make his way in the universe. He's just a simple man trying to make his way in the universe.
Yeah.
And
His family being killed.
yeah,
And
and it's like, you can
Yeah.
relate to that, just like you can relate to Luke. Because what episode Return of the Jedi is all about, when he says, I'm a Jedi like my father, what he's ultimately saying there is, I love my dad and I'm not going to kill him. It's like, Of course, everyone can relate to that. So how on earth are we supposed to relate to a character who has everything, kills our granddad, and then takes the name of someone who she doesn't have the right to take his name?
I think the thing is though, and that they did try and like fix some of those issues. Like in the third one, they did try and show Rey training, which is fair enough. But at that point, she had already done so much. She had already beaten Kylo Ren prior to that once before, without having any training, without even she rejected the idea of being a
She beat him
Jedi.
a couple of times, didn't she?
I mean, the first movie she beat him.
She beat him in the first movie. Does she not have a lightsaber fight with him in the second one? She has about 3 with him in the third one, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
she's never. I don't think she has one in the second one. She,
Oh,
they
'cause
just pull
they
the
have the throne room thing, don't
yeah. But like at that point, it didn't show you having any actual training. She shouldn't. Kylo Ren should not have lost to Rey. Finn. It should have just been like a quick get lost.
And this is another thing that people who don't care about Star Wars and the Star Wars people who love sequels, their thing is, Rey's too powerful. It's like
Why is
you're making fun of us for having an opinion where your opinion is just the opposite of our opinion, and it's like people will have differing opinions because
Yeah.
there'll be someone out there who doesn't like, The Shawshank Redemption, but it's regarded as one of the best films of all time, and it's like people have differing opinions, but if you're attacking someone for having that opinion,
Yeah.
you're
Then what
the
does that
toxic
make
thing.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like when people say that Star Wars haters are the toxic part of the fan base, it's like they're not, because we sit here and we admire things like this and we love things like The Mandalorian. We like Star Wars, and it's like we want a
Yeah.
good version of Star Wars.
There's nothing. I don't agree with those people that attack like people if like they're not making good films and they get personal and they attack those people. You can have like a negative opinion about something, but just don't get personal with it. But it's like, as the fans, as the people that are going to be watching and paying money to see these films and going to the cinema and watching it, and the people they expect to buy the merchandise and everything like that, the product has to be worth it. They have to make a good product. If they don't make a good product, people aren't going to buy it and people aren't going to be happy about it.
That was the
It's
thing.
like, that's just what they have to expect.
I didn't realise at the time, right, when Last Jedi came out, because, I don't, as I've said in the previous video, I don't blame Ryan Johnson for J.J. Abrams. Ryan Johnson,
Yeah.
he had the balls to try something new. It didn't work. Despite people thinking it did, it didn't work. So, because the last thing, and Marvel's your perfect example of this, the last thing you want to do is divide your fans. It's like, because this happens, when you've got the
Yeah.
MCU that has, all of the fans love it. There's a small minority that, they don't like certain things, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But
Generally speaking, everyone
Star Wars
could
is
come
so
together,
divided at the minute, and it's like, why would that be what you want to do? You don't want to divide fans.
yeah.
You want fans to sit there and go, that was the best thing that I've ever seen. And it's like, fans were like that when Luke came out. I mean, there are people who say, oh yeah, that was just fanfare. It's like, that's what these films are. It's like, that's what these films are. It's like, yes,
Yeah.
tell an original story, but the films are fanfare. That's the point.
It annoyed me as well, those people that would complain about it being animated, when I know for a fact there'd be people that would have complained if they brought another actor in. Like those people saying, oh, it should have been Sebastian Stan because he looks like him.
Yeah.
It's like, if they had brought him in to play a young Luke, people would have gone off it. It's like, you can't please everyone, and that's
Yeah, and
That's the issue.
Again, that's the thing with film, because films are objective. But it's like, I think in 20 years, people will look back and go, I can't believe I was a member of a minority that thought the sequels were good. Because I think they're going to age terribly. I think Lucasfilm and the general thing is starting to realise that, oh my god, so everyone likes Dave Filoni. Let's let Dave Filoni do some more things. And they are, because he's doing more series. I think they'll eventually go, let's give him and I'm
let's give
excited.
him a trilogy.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for Ryan Johnson's trilogy, because it's not going to be the Skywalker thing, so there isn't going to be any expectation. He
And-
can be different, and it's like,
And
that's
he's
fair
going to
enough.
be doing an actual trilogy, not coming in halfway through
Yeah,
to try and take this trilogy somewhere.
yeah.
But we've seen that thing, and it really annoyed me a lot more than I thought it would, which is something that Daisy Ridley said. And obviously, this isn't anything like against Daisy Ridley. She's just, she was just an actor
I
at
love
the.
Daisy Ridley.
But this is more to do with the writers. That when she was filming the last movie, Rise of Skywalker, they kept on changing there was talks about her being related to Kenobi. There was talks about her being related to Palpatine. They kept on changing their mind, and that she didn't actually know.
Oh, the thing that you're saying
the interview
is
that she did.
they lied to us because Kathleen Kennedy said the plan from the beginning, from Force Awakens,
Yeah.
was that Rey was a Palpatine,
Uh-huh.
whereas Rey herself, like
Daisy
Daisy Ridley
Ridley
said, the original actual plan was for her
Was-
to be a Kenobi.
And then they changed it, and then they told her Palpatine, but then they told her no, she's just going to be no one, and then they told her Palpatine again, and it's like
That was what's
to
wrong
me.
with the trilogy.
That's what went wrong with They just didn't have a plan. Even if they brought different directors in, if they just said, okay, here's how it's going to start, here's how it's going to end, here's the big twist in the middle. As long as you do this, you can do what you want. You can add little bits in. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's fine. But here's how it has to start, and here's how it has to end. And they didn't do that.
So I've recently jumped on the bandwagon a little bit where I didn't mind that Rey wasn't related to anyone. I was kind of
Yeah.
like, okay, because technically we've already got our dynasty character, which is Kylo, and it's kind of like, okay, that's fair enough. But it's kind of like, I don't mind that she's not related to anyone. The thing that bugged me is that they went, she's not related to anyone, and then in the third movie they went, okay, she is actually related to anyone. And he did
Yeah.
actually, he meant when he said you're related to no one, he meant only
Because your parents
because your
chose not to be
parents
or
are no
whatever.
one. It's like, no. That's that Obi-Wan thing that I still don't like, is that from a certain point of view. I don't like that. It's like, don't do that. It's like that.
It just came across as a cover-up to me.
Yeah.
Like, they were trying... Like, fans didn't like the fact she wasn't related to anyone, and so they were like, oh, actually, she is related to someone. It kind of just felt like they were backtracking a bit, and I didn't like that about that movie. The fact they covered stuff up. It was like, it felt like J.J. Abrams was just going, okay, forget everything that happened in the second movie. And here's you know, like, what should be 2 movies in 1 movie.
Yeah. There's too much wrong with Rise of Skywalker to start talking about it now. Me, Anthony, and Michael have talked about it enough. Go and watch that video.
That podcast.
Thing is, again, I don't want people to think that I hate the sequels. I mean,
No, there's some good... I felt like there was definitely some good moments. It
Yeah.
looked beautiful.
but the thing is, and people might not want to admit it because they do, all of the problems started with Rian Johnson's Last Jedi. And again, this isn't me sitting here that Rian Johnson is a bad director, because he
No.
isn't. The Knives Out is one of my favourite films.
Such a good film.
The problem is, he had the balls to try something. He
Didn't
said,
work.
we're going to be completely different. And he said, we're going to kill, literally in the script it says, kill the past.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I can kind of understand that, but you shouldn't. In a certain way, you can't kill the past, because the past is what everything is built on. You know, you're trying to actively recreate that magic without being too similar, which is what The Force Awakens was. Anyway, what are we talking about? This isn't supposed to be a sequel rant. This is supposed to be a reaction.
But yeah, I did like this trailer.
This is a good trailer. We love your theory.
Oh no. Just stop the hate, people.
Yeah.
I know 2020's been a crap year, but there's no need to, you know, go on the internet and start hating on people for no reason.
Where else can you hate people these days? We've probably just triggered a whole bunch of sequel lovers.
Well,
Yeah,
it's our opinion. If you have an issue with our opinion, or you're going to attack us for our opinion, then what does that make you?
yeah. Someone who is not cared about, because we won't care. You know, I mean, I got attacked for ages by my friends for not liking the sequels, and now my friends, well, I don't know if they are starting to dislike them, but they're certainly accepting. Anthony's definitely accepting, as we've seen in the video,
Accepting
that there are things wrong with The Last Jedi.
And that's happened though. People are starting to see the flaws.
Yeah.
People are going back and rewatching it and going, oh, actually, I liked this at the beginning, but I'm looking at it now, I don't like this.
Do you know I've only seen that movie twice?
Oh, yeah. I reckon if you rewatched it again, you
But I'm
probably...
going to watch it a third time so I can write the second part of my trilogy. Because there are bits in it that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain bits in it that I liked, and nothing that included Luke, or Leia, or Poe, or Rey,
Mm-hmm.
or Chewbacca, or Finn, or Rose, or Phasma, or Benicio del Toro. Basically, all the bits with Adam Driver. I like those bits.
Yeah.
Those are the funny bits I like.
Okay.
Right, so we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Let us know if you're excited for this trailer, not the sequels. Are you excited for this? Down there in the comments. Do you think there'll be a lightsaber fight between Darth Vader and Mace Windu? There's got to be, isn't there? It's got to be
I mean,
good.
if it's coming into it, it has to be, yeah.
And let us know your honest opinions of the sequel trilogy
Without being mean.
without being mean.
We don't like meanness.
Let's be loving for once. What is that behind my head? Did you see that? What is that white thing behind my head? Is there something in the picture? Oh, it's a light at the back.
Just a speck.
Yeah, thanks for watching.